Hello everyone, it is me and today I'm going to be doing a bit of a unique video for me. And it's going to be a similar discussion video. And it's about what CNN could do to save itself from its downfall. Because for the past couple of days I've been looking at what's been going on with CNN and what's going on with the business. I thought it was quite an interesting topic since like CNN is in quite a dilemma because basically what CNN wants to do is kind of wants to become more neutral because let's be honest, CNN was quite progressive beforehand, but now with the CEO of Mark Thompson, and I've got one of his shareholders, CNN's biggest shareholders, wanted I forgot what his name. He was like a libertarian, wanted to make it more neutral. And I've just been watching quite a lot of videos about what's going on with CNN, and I've been finding it quite fascinating. And here are some of my suggestions. So if Mark Thompson or anyone else on like the board of directors of CNN is watching this, maybe could send this to him and maybe get me a comfy job there. Because I've just been seeing some of the issues you are having, and I thought I might have my say. So if anyone's working at CNN, just could help. So there's a big issue with the old CNN fan base, you could say, or the old CNN viewers, getting mad at what CNN is trying to become. Because, like I said before, the CNN trying to become more neutral and be more of a middle ground, quite a centrist position. So, since I think was it in June? I believe it was in June or July before Donald Trump went to prison. That he had an interview with CNN and he kind of went quite crazy. Everyone was laughing because it was proven that lots of the people in the audience were people who supported Donald Trump. Because the reason why CNN did this was because they wanted to give it a much more like neutral look, which I think certainly did backfire on them since having all these people to be Trump supporters doesn't look very neutral. If it was me, I would have a decent amount of some Trump supporters, Biden supporters, Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, or just random independents, or just anything in between, or just casual audiences, to make itself look more neutral. So in that regard, CNN didn't do a good job and just got itself into more controversy. Now, now I'm going to go a bit back on topic now. I'm going to go a bit back on topic about what CNN could do to save itself. Since that was one of the examples of what they tried to do succeeded to an extent. What we should have, like I said before, what they should have done is that they should have made the audience a bit more diverse in thoughts, in like political views and ideology. So I think they did fail in that regard. But having Donald Trump on there, on CNN, which lots of CNN hosts and lots of their views do not like, was a good move. It was a good move, and it also got people like Trump supporters to watch the interview, and letting Donald Trump go just say whatever he wants was a good marketing strategy. To be fair, though, where that fell, however, is that because let's be honest, like I said before, lots of CNN supporters were progressive. So in regard to that, people they were getting quite mad that they were probably going to spread misinformation, and that the question, I forgot what they're called again, but the narrator, I believe it's called, or the host, wasn't like questioning and debating Donald Trump enough. What they should have done was have people, both Republicans and Democrats, and people who support Trump, some Republicans that do support Trump, some that do not, and just have a much more wider range of debate as well. Just not letting it be too progressive, because then all people on the right are going to be angry because it seems very biased. But not all people on the left are going to be happy because they're going to seem biased to the right. So that's what we should have done. That's what we should have done in that regard. Because the reason why I'm talking about this is because it was something that was quite popular as well. That came quite well known. I don't think rating wise, but like people watching it live, I think it was only like 1.2 million, but it seems a lot, but I don't think it's actually that good, to be fair. Still for a mainstream channel such as CNN for America, so it's not very good. One of the other things that could possibly save CNN is have like separate times for certain shows. Have a completely just biased new channel, similar to the BBC now, whether you think the BBC is biased or not is beside the point, but just make it similar to that, where it just says this happened, this happened. And the news reporter isn't really showing his biases. Because yes, there will never be a thing as such as completely neutral news. The neutral news will never exist. There'll all be some slight biases. That's inevitable at the end of the day. But try and minimise it. But then have other times on CNN where people are debating each other and it being much more biased. Because whether you like it or not, people do like television shows that are biased and news channels that are biased. Since people do like channels that actually agree with them, so they're not on their own. But like some people, so I don't think this idea of making it completely neutral is a good idea. It's not a good idea. I think it will make. I think you should try and make it more neutral, certainly, but try and make completely neutral all the time. No, they still should have some like news narrators on like their own show, similar to the Tucker Carlson show, with their own biases, but keep the news itself completely biased, at least as biased as possible. So another thing as well is that, like I said before, that we are going through more polarized times, where like more like you could say like more biased shows is becoming more popular, such as in an example, GB News in the UK. I believe like one of GB News TV host Nigel Farage won like a host television host reward of the year or something along those lines. So, and GB News, whether you like GB News or not, it certainly does have a bias. But yes, they do take people on the show that do debate on stuff that have different views. But at the end of the day, it certainly is a right-wing news channel. Whether you like it or not, that is the case, unfortunately. Which is something I think CNN and other UK news channels. What's that coming out? I don't think there is any new UK news channels, but or GB News. If anyone's watching this on GB News, needs to capitalise on, since, like I said before, though, everyone does like debate. Everyone does like everyone does like debate, but keep it. But what I don't see what's going on with the news is that they are keeping like the main, just the news, like 7 p.m. news, very biased, but not having like debates and stuff like they do on like GB News. I think if they mixed the two together, like BBC and GB News, for a different channel where these are just biased news, but we also got people on from all backgrounds to debate and discuss ideas. I think that would be good. That would be good. Maybe that's something I could do. I could try and make my own television show, but I think it would be quite expensive to do so. Another issue that is facing CNN is its issue with streaming. Now, it's inevitable. It certainly is undeniable that more independent grassroots media is getting more popular. It inevitably is. Now, you could say that has stuff to do with polarization, since it's much easier for channels to be polarized on the internet. Shows on the internet to be more polarized when it comes to news, politics, economics, geopolitics, or whatever, to be much more biased. And that is what is selling at the moment. That is what it's selling. What isn't selling, though, is when it gets to the mainstream, for the most part. When it gets to mainstream media, it doesn't sell. And people can argue, well, CNN should get off cable and go completely on the internet. That doesn't work, because even if television media, not TVs themselves, TVs are here to say, I guarantee, television programs on TV themselves, on cable, no, I don't think they will be. I think they're not going to be gone overnight, but certainly we're going to see them slowly go away in the next 30 decades. What CNN needs to do is that it needs to kind of not take their news programs off completely yet, but what we need to do is kind of have different programs, different other things that are not just for news, that they can post online, which will make this transition, which I think will inevitably happen, from cable to completely just streaming. Since CNN Plus was a complete failure, so they did it way too soon. And I think a good example of this working is BBC Bite, things such as BBC Bite Size. Since BBC Bite Size is basically kind of like an education website, what people in the UK use, and it is owned by the BBC, and basically kind of it certainly is used a lot in the UK, certainly when it came to things like English and history, at least in my case. And I don't think that there is any like news channels in the US that do stuff like that. I believe, have like education programs. I think that mainly because US television is polarized, and so you have a political bias. But CNN could capitalize on this, since Thompson did work for the BBC, and I think it could possibly be a bit of fresh air for Americans to have like very biased news, or at least look biased at the very least. And I think that could actually make it quite unique for American audiences in that regard, and also that could make more profit. Certainly, since CNN is trying to be more neutral, since that could make people kind of open up to CNN and actually use it for education programs, which I'm not sure how good that is as a business model, but it's certainly something it could do. I also know that BBC does like a YouTube channel called BBC Free, where they do post like short documentaries, which you could also do to make the transition smoother. But these are just really my thoughts at the end of the day. So I think those some they should try and do is try and not take the channel completely off cable and online, because that will be a disaster. That will make them go bankrupt, since they still have lots of audiences where they can certainly break even. Not as much as they used to do, but certainly do in that regard. So anyway, I think that's all I really wanted to say. That's all I wanted to say. Were these good ideas? Probably not. These were just my thoughts. I thought this stuff that CNN could do to improve. If anyone is much better than me at business, and I said anything wrong, please correct me, because I'm not a business expert. I just find the subjects of business economics quite interesting in my eyes. So these were just me giving my thoughts on it. But anyway, put comments what you thought about the downfall of CNN. Do you think CNN could be saved, or do you think it's going to be gone soon? Or do you think it's deserved or not? I just want your opinion. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. Goodbye.